All right. Hey everybody, welcome to Fab Fit Friday. Today I'm answering another subscriber's question, how to make a mock turtleneck for the Raglan Sleeve top. And I don't know if I've mentioned this, but the Raglan Sleeve top is my favorite pattern, my favorite top pattern I have in my collection. So anytime I get an excuse to make something or make something different with the Raglan Sleeve top, I'm super excited. Let me just say hi. Hi Janie and Judy, how are you guys? Oh, it's cold in Kansas. It's cold in Connecticut. We're going to be getting snow or some sort of storm on Saturday night to Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday to Friday next week. So it's going to be a very cool weather day, or a cool weather week. So this is actually a perfect project for us in these cold states. All right, so what I want to do today is show you how to make a mock turtleneck version of the Raglan Sleeve. And you can see on me right now, I'm wearing my my own pattern that I adjusted the neckline so it's ready to put on a band to create a mock turtleneck. And I'm actually thinking that I may make my band match the colors. So in the center, front, and center back, I'll use this white and gray or white and black rib knit, and then on the sides I'll use the sleeve, the black fabric, so it'll go up the neck like that too. I'm kind of excited. Ooh, it's hi Diane Zimmerman from frigid West New York. Oh yes, it's cold. Ooh, hi Nilgund. Nilgund is joining us from Istanbul. I think that's very cool. All right, so what I want to do today is, first I'm going to show you this. I'm going to just maybe stand up a little bit so you can see. Okay, so this is my the start of my mock turtleneck. Hi Terry. Good morning from frigid Nebraska. Mary, is it frigid in Michigan? Hi Music Boss. Welcome ladies. I'm showing you my Raglan sleeve that I have started for a mock turtleneck, and I'm just going to turn around and go this way to show you. The first goal in creating a mock turtleneck is to get the neckline up to the base of your neck. And I'm playing with this because it looks like it's crooked in all these different directions, but in actuality, you know, all of these raw edges are pulling on each other, so they're going to be a little bit funky until I put the band on. And this is a very stretchy rib knit, and this is an ITY, not ITY, double brushed poly fabric. So this knit is a little bit firmer than this knit. So that's what I have going on in my neckline right now. What I want to do is I'm going to switch my view here, and I'm gonna, I guess I'll move me up here now, like that. And I want to show you my adjusted pieces, and then I'm going to show you how to adjust them. So the trick to adjusting the Raglan sleeve neckline is that the top of the sleeve is the sides of your neckline. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my sleeve and my front and back, and I'm just going to put them together so you can see how it creates the neckline. And the first thing I did here, just back this up a little bit so you can see better. Okay. The first thing I did was I noted my seam allowances, and then I attached those at the seam allowances, because when you design something technically it's easier to do it if you don't have your seam allowances to worry about, and then you can add them later. But I wasn't gonna trace my pattern and get rid of the seam allowances, so I'm just making note of them, and I'm just gonna pin them together like this. Okay, so this is what my neckline looks like after I've adjusted it. And basically you want to go with the idea that the diameter of your neck is approximately 6 inches. There's a little wiggle room depending on your size. It could be a little 5 inches and some odd, and it could be maybe a little bit more than 6 inches. But basically, the hole you need to fit your neck through is approximately 6 inches from center front to center back. So what I did was this green line was my original neckline, and I brought it up to close that neck opening, so it's at the base of my neck, so I can then add a band to create the mock turtleneck. So, and now that I'm working on this, I remember back when I had my J. Stern Designs Fitting and Pattern Perfection group, I think I did how to do a turtleneck on this. I don't know if it was my regular tee or whether it's my Raglan, but I remember I was working on it. And the thing is, you really have to do this first. So you can see here, I increased my front about 3 inches. Let me just show you here. Well, 2 3/4 inches, and I increased or lengthened my back 1 inch and 3/8. And then what I did to see if I was closing the gap, I measured from end to end, and I got 5 inches. Now I know I just said your neck is 6 inches across, but remember we're working with a knit, and that's going to grow when you put it on. So you have to make your opening a little bit smaller than 6 inches. So I made it 5 inches. Let me just stop and say hi. Nilgun's telling us that yesterday it was 16 degrees Celsius. Today it's only 3. On Sunday we're expecting snow. So it's winter in Istanbul. That's an interesting geography weather lesson. And then Terry is asking where she can purchase my patterns. I believe, Terry, under all of my videos I have a link to my online store. And I'll check that, but I'm pretty sure if you go into the comments below this video, you can go to my website and look at all my patterns. On Tuesday, I did a fit tip video showing how to shorten the back of the Raglan sleeve top, and I think I put a link directly to the Raglan under that video. All right, so everybody good with this? So I'm going to put this away for now, because what I want to do is show you how I thought about it and got it to this point on my little size 0 Raglan sleeve pattern that I was using to adjust the back. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to get my, okay, so you can see here, this is what I did on Tuesday. I showed how to do, basically how to do a sway back adjustment to shorten the center back of the pattern. And I will put a link to this in the description to this video in case you want to go back and see how to do that. But basically, I'm going to start by marking the seam allowance along the armhole, or where the arm attaches, edges here. So it's 3/8 of an inch, so I'm just going to mark that. And then I'm going to, oh, here's my sleeve. Let me cut out the sides of my sleeve. I'm not going to lie, I traced the sleeve pattern right off of my Raglan sleeve pattern that's hanging on the wall. So I went up to the wall and I just traced this because I realized I forgot to trace it earlier. Let me just cut this off. Alright. I'm just going to have it be like that for now. Okay, and then I'm going to mark my seam allowances. Hi, Isha. Oh, Aisha from last week. Welcome. Okay, so I'm just adding seam allowances here just so I can keep note of those. Okay, and then I'm going to just pin my back to my back and my front to my front. So this is the back, and I'm just going to line up those allowances, and I'm going to pin it together. Hi, Glenda. Oh, it's frigid in Minnesota too. Yep. It is cold. Oh, I talked to my friend Becky in Florida today, and I forgot to ask her what the weather was like. I'm guessing it might not have been as cold as it is here. All right. So, let me just pin this. Now, because of the way I trace these, my front and back are upside down, but that's all right. We'll be able to do it. Oh, and then the other thing I have to do is I had cut out my my neckline here, so let me just fill that with paper. Just get a little piece that I'm just going to fill this with paper so you can see what I'm doing here. Alright, so you can see when I tape this together, look how wide open this neckline is. Okay, you can see the center front is all the way over here. Let me just draw that so you can see. This is the center front edge, and this is the original neckline. Okay, and this is my center back over here. This is the original neckline, and this is my center back way over here. You can see that that's a good 10 3/4 inches. So we have to really bring that in. Hi, Bigal. It's Phyllis from Chicago. Thanks for teaching us this. Oh, you are entirely welcome, Phyllis. All right, so our first thing is, I'm going to use a different color. I'll use a pen. I'm going to just extend my center front up, and I'm going to extend my center back up. And of course, it looks like I don't have enough paper there either, so I'm just going to tape some more paper here, just so I can make that look nice. Now these lines I'm drawing right now are just random, or they're maybe longer than I need. I just want to show you what we're trying to do is we're trying to close this gap. Let's see if I can bring this in a little bit so you can see. There. Okay, so this is the sleeve, this is the front, and this is the back, just to keep track of where we are. So I want to close this to approximately 5 inches. So I'm just going to measure what I did on my randomness. Okay, so that's at 6 inches. So I'm going to want to close it a little bit more. And I think the back is closed about as much as I can do here. I'm adding 2 inches to the back. I added almost 2 inches to mine, and that sits right at the top, my vertebrae, right at the top at the base of my neck. So I'm guessing 2 inches is the max I can add to the back. So I'm going to extend, and of course, I added paper, and I didn't add enough paper. This is turning into a Frankenstein pattern. A Franken pattern, is that what they call it? Let me just extend this a little bit more. Okay, so now if I measure from here to here, now I'm at about 5 inches, well, 5 3/8. I'm going to leave it at that. So then I'm going to measure from here, okay, in this direction. I'm just going to draw a line here. So this is going from the base of the center front neckline towards the shoulder or the side neckline. I want that to be about 2.5 or 2 3/4. So I'm just going to make a little guide right here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of dash it in. So see, if I do something like this, well, actually, I'm going to have to come like this. So in the center of the sleeve, we have 2 inches. Here we have 2 and 2¼ I'm moving it in. Okay, so do you see what I'm doing? I'm sort of creating a nice circular neckline shape. Okay, and I'm bringing in and bringing up the original neckline. Good morning, Andrea. Okay, so now if I were to extend this, I'm not going to draw or tape more paper, but I'm just going to lay my ruler so it's aligned up with my center front like this. And then I'll just use my tape measure to show you. If I were to measure from here to here, I'm getting about that 2½ inches I wanted. Okay, so sort of in the middle of my shoulder. I'm about 2½ inches from the center. So this neckline, I think, is going to be pretty good. The shape of this neckline is going to be pretty good. Okay, and of course you might have to test it. I recommend, if you're not sure on exactly how much, bring it up higher than you think you might need, because what you can do is you can actually trim it back down after you get it on. But if the fabric doesn't come up high enough to the base of your neck, then you're going to have to start over. So just as an example what that would look like, let's pretend, or let's say that I'm happy with the shape, but it isn't quite 5 inches. I'm going to go ahead and add another 1/4 or even a 1/2 inch to it, and that will act as my seam allowance to sew on the neckband. So if I do this, okay, I think that that's going to be a good final shape for this size. Okay, so please let me know if you have any questions about how to put together your pieces, your front, your sleeve, your back, and then extend the center front up, extend the center back up, and then you're also going to measure, you know, really in the center of your sleeve. So if you put a ruler here and measure from the original sleeve up, I'm sorry, from this lot, from where the center is, you want to be approximately 2.5 inches away. Okay, because that's going to stretch. All right, so that's how you draw or adjust your front, back, and sleeve. And here's the thing. Obviously, you're going to want to make a copy of your original raglan sleeve top, because then you'll have your original neckline, and then you can have this one. Now, for me, I'm almost thinking, I'm always hot, and I made those double lined leggings a few weeks ago in one of my videos, and I can only wear those when it's under 10 degrees. If it's 15 degrees out, they're too hot for me, because I'm really cooking along in the woods, and I'm always very, very warm when I'm hiking. But this neckline, as it stands right now, I think would be a really comfortable neckline for me, because it's up to the base of my neck. And then if I add just a little mock turtleneck, I think that'll be perfect to keep my neck warm while I'm hiking. But I really don't think I would wear anything higher than this inside the house. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I'm always very, very warm. The turtleneck version of the top I made last year, I haven't even worn it. I put it on, and then I take it back off because I get too warm. So for me, I'm envisioning wearing this when I'm hiking, and I'm just going to put a little mock turtleneck on it, so it's good for when it's cold outside. Okay, so Bigel is saying, Jen, how do you extend the patterns to separate them? All right, well, I'm going to show you what to do next. If you mean like what is the next step, oops, come up, and I'm going to show you what to do here. I'm going to make each piece now. Let me just, I came untaped, unpinned here. Let me just fix this. Oh, I think my pin came loose and this got a little screwed up here. All right, so I'm going to tape this to here, and then I'm going to have to add extra, oops. Okay, so let me just, all right, so let me just tape this to here. All right, so here's what I'm going to have to do now to separate these pieces, because I think that's what B-Gal is asking here. What I'm going to do is I am going to use my my pattern marking wheel that I have, and I am going to mark after I, all right, so this is turning into a big fat mess here because I have all these little pieces of paper that I have to tape on to get it to be enough paper. Let me just, okay, so all right, so I think what I'm going to do is, for now, I'm going to have to make a neat copy, but let's see this here. Let me just tape this like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am actually going to mark my neckline through this upper paper. Can you see those little dots that I traced? They went right here. So this is the edge of the neckline. Okay, and then I'm also going to draw, this is the edge of my sleeve, so I'm just going to continue the line of it like that. Okay, so that's going to be this piece right here. So that's going to complete, my back piece is going to go up to this tiny little bit like this. Okay, and then to get my sleeve, I'm going to trace, the sleeve is over here, so remember that we have 3/8 inch seam allowances, so it's really 3/4 when you double it away from the raw edge. So I'm just going to go like this. And I'm just going to do the, just put that so I have it underneath here. All right, wait a minute. Let me cut this one out so you can see. Where are my paper scissors? All right, so let me just cut this one out. Okay, once I cut this one out, I can put this under, oops, I can put this underneath. Okay, so this is what the completed back looks like. And now that I've cut it out, what I'll do is I'll switch it. I'm going to put it underneath the sleeve, and I'm going to line it back up at the oh, well, why is that doing that? Hold on. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to line up my seam allowances here. And I think this got a little bit screwed up, so I think I'm going to have to add a little bit to that. Hold on one second, I'm sorry. All right, let me pin it this way. I think this pin escaped and I got a little bit screwed up with my, it became unmatched. So let me just, oops, match it back up. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to bring this to here to make it even, because I think that slipped. And then if I check it again, okay, that is 5 inches, and that's a good goal for what we're doing. So this got screwed up, but now that I have the back underneath, I can then continue. Well, my front, actually, I don't have to do anything to it because it goes to there. I have enough paper, so I can just cut that out. All right, so let me just cut this out and this out. And then I just want to make sure that the edge of this, oops, let me just cut this out too. Okay, and then, so this and this are fine. Okay, I might need to add a little triangle of paper here. I'm going to walk them after. I'm going to show you how to double check everything after we finish. Anyway, let's put a little piece of tape there. So this is done. Okay, and then over here, the only thing I have to do to here is, I'm just going to add a little paper to fill in this gap. Okay, and then I'm just going to trace it through. This is going to come up, and I'm going to sort of follow the angle in which the sleeve was going. So then I can trace that through. That's right here. Oops. Okay, so see, this is continuing on like that. That's the seam allowance for that one. Okay, and then this one is going to continue up like this, up to the neckline. Okay, so that completes the front piece. And then again, I can, let me just cut this out. Oops. All right, and then I'm going to stick this one underneath so I can finish my front, or just check my sleeve. And actually, let me just cut it out and make sure it matches up. I think it's going to be fine. Okay. All right, so if I match this up on the seam allowance, okay, so see how that becomes, that neckline matches right there. And then the back matches like this. Okay, so you can see we have all of our pieces now. I'll just put this here for a second. Oops. All right, so that is our neckline. You see it? Does everybody see that? Lana says it's been here since the beginning, but wouldn't let me comment for some reason. Oh, hi Lana, sorry about that. Oh, Nilgun wants to know how I store my patterns. The patterns that I'm using frequently, what I do is I actually put, let me see if I can show you. See up, oh, that's my, see against that wall back there? I put cork strips along the ceiling, and then I basically pin my patterns to that cork strip so they hang down. And then they stay nice and they don't get bent. And then when I retire patterns, I have one of those long under the bed storage Tupperware things, and I just lay them flat in there, like if they're patterns I'm not going to use. And actually, I think I'm getting to the point now where I'm going to have a spring, summer, winter, fall, like 2 different boxes so I can keep my patterns nice and flat. But I do like to hang them up so I can look at them and think about them as I, you know, work. And actually, the Raglan Sleeve top was over here against this blank wall. See how I have the cork up there? So I have space to put new patterns now, so I'll be filling my walls up with new things that I'm working on. Okay, so I'm very happy that you guys are joining me. I just want to know if anybody has any questions about making the neckline reach the base of your neck. And like I said, I really would, if you're not sure, guess up. So make your neckline even more closed than you think you might need it, because if it's too high, you can trim it away. If it's not high enough, then you can't add a mock turtleneck to it. All right, so having finished these, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay this is my back. Of course now the front of my pattern has all these bits of paper that I kept adding. This is why I definitely should buy stock and Scotch tape, because I use a lot of Scotch tape. But this is the finished back piece, and it comes to a little tiny, a little tiny area up here. But this is, this I think, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering if this is actually going to be a little bit too small. I think what I'm going to do here is, I think this is too tiny. That's only going to open up to be barely 2 inches, and I think it needs to be a little bit bigger than that. So what I'm going to do here is, I think when I continued this line up, I think I continued it a little bit at too much of an angle. So I'm just going to continue it like this and just make it this little bit bigger, like that. Okay. So now it's almost 2 inches, and that's plenty big. Okay, so I'm going to just cut that off. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk the pattern, and I'm just going to lay the back onto the back sleeve like this, and I'm going to start down at the underarm seam, and I'm just going to use my scissors as a stiletto, and I'm just going to pivot my pattern right around to make sure it matches. And you can see up here at the top, that matches almost perfectly. Okay, see there's a little point sticking out, which there should be, because that's what you need for the allowance, that little point right there, see? All right, so that matches. And then I'm just going to check my front. And again, I have all of this extra paper on the right side of my front. Once you finalize it, you can add, I'm making a neat copy. This is like my sloppy copy. So again, I'm just going to line this up like this. And I'm going to walk it along. Okay, so now here you can see this one, there's a little discrepancy. So I think I'm just going to trim my sleeve down to match it. Okay, so I was off just about that much. Okay, so I trimmed it to match. So now I know that my sleeves match my armhole. Okay, so that's done. Now the next step is I'm going to see if there's questions. Okay, Mary wants to know, how did I come up with 5 inches from front to back? All right, so in the beginning I said that your neck is essentially 6 inches across, or in diameter. It's a circle, so front to back it's approximately 6 inches, side to side it's approximately 6 inches, but we're working with knit, so knit is going to grow when you put it on, so I wanted to make my distance less than 6 inches. So I decided 5 inches, and I tested it on me. This is 5 inches, and it works. So for this knit, and really I think for most knits, a 5-inch front to back works. Now if you have a slender neck and you feel like your neck isn't quite 6 inches in diameter, you could make the amount smaller, but I would definitely make it smaller than what your diameter is, because knits grow. That's why I said 5 inches. Okay, B-Gal wants to know, how much did you add to the neck of the shirt you're wearing if it's 5 inches from the one we're working on? Okay, so I added 5 inches to this pattern, my pattern, And on this sample, which is the smallest size in the Raglan Sleeve pattern, I added 5 inches. I get... Oh. I love it that my husband's office is on the first floor and my office is on the second floor. Otherwise, we would never get any work done because we chit-chat all the time. All right, B-Gal, I'm not sure what your question is. You're asking me how much did I add to the neckline of the shirt I'm wearing. Let me get that one back so I can show it to you again. Okay, so I added to it to get approximately that same 5-inch gap. Let me measure it for you. See how that's 5 inches? Hi Dot, it's okay that you're late. You're welcome anytime. All right, so I just think an inch smaller than 6 inches for me is good because I'm sure my neck is 6 inches across because I have a big neck. So like I said, if your neck is not quite 6 inches, you could close it up even farther. And again, I'll say it one more time. If you're not sure, close it up a little bit more than you think you need to because you can trim it away and adjust your pattern after you cut it out to test it. Because like I said, if it's not close enough into your neck, then the mock turtleneck is not going to work. Oh, Mary is that a 5-inch neckline that you're wearing? Yes, this pattern right here is what I have on my body. This is my pattern. This is how it fits on me. Okay, but again, like I said, I'm big. I'm a big woman. So if your neck is more slender than mine, maybe you want to make your gap a little bit smaller. Okay. And I think I would make it a little bit smaller if you're not sure, because like I said, you want it to be at the base of your neckline. Because if it comes out like this, let's say it comes out looking like this. Okay, then what's going to happen when you go to put the mock turtleneck on, or the mock, it's not going to be up on your neck. It's going to be dragging like towards your neck, and it's going to look weird. All right, so the whole goal is to get it up there. Okay. Oh, Miguel says I have a perfect neckline. Well, to be honest with you, I'll be completely honest with you. I tested it, and so I thought to myself, no matter how it comes out, I'm going to show you what I did, and if it was not high enough, I would have showed you that, and I would have changed it. So it was a little bit of a guess based on, the diameter of the person's neck that I closed it that much. So that's where we are right now. Now, the other part of this is to make the band to make a mock turtleneck. So what you can do, and actually I'm going to do it on my pattern that fits, because then I can just, sew it on. What you're going to do is you're going to pin your pieces together like this, lining up your stitching lines. So here are my stitching lines. Okay, so I've overlapped the pieces so that those stitching lines match. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of pattern paper, and you're going to lay it on top, and, oh wait, no, I don't want to do that. I was going to show you how to make a facing. We're not making a facing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this. So with them all pinned together accurately, I'm measuring on the sewing line now, because obviously the neck, the raw edge is going to be smaller than the sewing line. So I'm going to take my flexible clear ruler here, and I am just going to hold it on the edge and hold it on the other edge, and I'm going to line the ruler up with my stitching line as best as I can. And this is 8.5 inches, and I don't have to worry, there are no seam allowances here. These are cut on the fold. Okay, there's no center, front, and back seam. So my distance, let's get a different color. my distance from here, well, we should probably get a color that works. This one, see if this one works. Okay, so from here all the way around to here is 8.5 inches. So I have to double that to 17 inches. That's the total measurement of this. So we're going to cut out a strip of knit that is 17 inches. And I'm not going to add a seam allowance to that because I want it to draw in a little bit. So you want to make your neck band a little bit smaller than the neckline edge that you're sewing it to. So if I use 3/8 inch seam allowances to sew the band together, then it's going to be 3/4 of an inch shorter than my neckline edge, and I think that'll be enough to hold it in and stand nicely on my neck. So basically, to make that pattern piece, I'm just going to put this aside. You're going to take your paper and you're going to draw yourself a rectangle. Okay, so I'll just draw 17-inch line here to here. All right, and then you have to decide how high you want your mock turtleneck to go. So I'm thinking maybe 1.5 inches. So that means I have to make it 2 inches approximately, or 1 7/8 if I'm really counting the 3/8 inch seam allowance. So first, just to show you, I'm going to draw my actual 1.5 inches for my mock turtleneck. Okay, so that's the actual mock turtleneck, but then we have to decide if we're going to, if you're really cold and you don't mind things around your neck, you can double this and have it folded at the top, and you can sew both raw edges to your neckline, and that would give you a double layered mock. So we can cut this on the fold, or we can make it double. So I'm just going to make it double because I don't like to cut things on the fold. So I'm just going to make another line here. I'm just going to extend this. And I'm going to extend this. So am I showing you everything here? 1 minute. Sorry. Okay, and then you have to add your seam allowances. So the easiest thing to do at this point is I'm just going to cut it out. Well, I'm just going to cut it off this paper like this. Okay, and then if you fold it in half, on the fold of the top of the mock turtleneck, then all you have to do is add your seam allowance once. And if you're using a quilting ruler, you can just do your 3/8 like this. So I'm just going to line it up with my 3/8. Okay, so that's at 3/8 and this is at 3/8. Then I can just cut it off, and that'll give me both my seam allowances at once. Oops. Okay, so here's my folded pattern. And I think I should probably sew it on for you guys, right? So let me get some fabric. I think to finish this, I'm going to use the black fabric around my neck. So let me just get a little bit of that fabric. I'll go over here. All right, we're going to try this. I'm going to just open this up here. Now, when you cut out your band, you want to make sure, obviously, it's going with the stretchy direction of your fabric. So this is the stretchy direction of my fabric. And I'm going to put it so it's on my table. You never want your fabric to hang off the table because it'll stretch out of shape. So I'm just going to cut myself a little bit greater maybe. There we go. I'm just going to cut this out using my ruler. The end here is a little crooked. I'm just going to straighten that out. Let me use this here. Okay, I'm going to cut this out. Okay, all right, so there's my neckband. Oh, B-Gal wants to know why I don't like a fold in my neckband. Well, you have to, I guess it doesn't matter, because as I was saying, that having a double layer would be hot. You'd still want to make a facing, so really you could either add a seam allowance on, you know, if this was single, you'd have to add a seam allowance to create a facing anyway, so really I guess it doesn't matter unless you want to just have a single layer of knit that's not finished, but I don't think that that would be like super nice. So I'm gonna do the fold. I just know, like, putting this on, you know, I'm really, you know, I feel like it's just gonna be warm for me unless I wear it outside, because I'm always very, very warm, but we'll see. I'm gonna see. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag my serger over here. If anybody is hasn't been following along, I started a new series called the Bernina L460 Serger Manual, and I launched those on Sundays. In last week's video, I showed how to get good seam allowances, accurate seam allowances, and what the difference between cutting width and seam allowance is. So if anybody needs a little refresher on that, I did, you know, it's in my, just check it out on my videos. Okay, let me get my serger over here. I'm only borrowing this serger. My friend Eric let me borrow it, so I'm keeping it nice and nice. Okay. Let me just change the view so you can see. Oh, I also have to take my top off too, so hold on one second. I didn't have a tank top on underneath, so I have to get, I don't want to scare anybody. All right, let me just get this so you can see. Okay, I think that's going to be good. Get a little closer. All right. Turn this more towards us. All right, so turn this on. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is sew my neckband into a circle. So I'm going to put right sides together. So I'm just matching my short ends here. And I'm just going to sew them like this. So this Bernina has a foot control that if I tap on it with my heel, the needles go down. Watch. Oops. Isn't that cool? So I can pick my needles up like that too, which I think is kind of cool. All right, so I'm just serging this. Okay, and then I'm going to fold it into a circle. So get this over here. Okay, so I'm going to fold this into a in half, basically, like this. Okay, so I'm matching my serge seam. Oh, let me just make it a little bit brighter so you can see the detail. I know black is hard to see on the camera. Let's make it really bright so you can see. I'm going to find my halfway point. Okay, so by folding it in half this way, I know that my halfway point is right here. So I'm going to mark this with a pin. Okay, so that's my halfway point. Now, on my neckline, I really have gotten away from centering the seam on the band at the center of the neckline. I think it looks better if you center it on a shoulder seam. So I'm going to center this on the back shoulder seam. So you can see that this is my back neckline. You can see it goes straight across basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this from this shoulder seam, I'm going to walk both sides of the neckline around until I find the midway point on this neckline from that shoulder seam. And we know it's going to be in the front somewhere, or pretty close to the, it's going to be on the front neckline slightly. Okay, so see when I fold this whole neckline in half, the halfway point is right here. I'm going to mark that with a clip. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this band and I'm going to pin the seam allowances of the band on this back neckline right at the shoulder seam. Okay, and then I'm going to just get all of my tails, and actually I think just to tidy that up I'm just going to clip them all. Alright, and I'm going to use my Wonder Clips. So I'm just going to pin that there. Then I'm going to reach over and I'm going to pin this one here. Okay. And then I'm just going to stretch the band to fit. Now remember, I only made it 3/4 of an inch smaller, but the knit is already stretched out because I've been wearing it. So this is how this neckband is going to kind of control or bring in that neckline. So see, I'm just going to line up all 3 layers like this, and I'm going to pin it together. There isn't a lot of, I don't have to really stretch the band to fit the neckline because it's so close in measurement. It's not like, you know, making a knit strip to finish the edge of the neckline. And then I'm going to do it on the other side as well. So again, if I lay the neckline on top of the band, so you can see it's pretty close. See, so I'm just going to bring that neckline right up to the edge, and I'm just going to match it up. Now I know in my case this rib knit is significantly stretchier than this double brush poly, so I'm going to have to ease that in along the front neckline, I think, a little bit. Alright, so I've got that all nice and matched up. Does anybody have any questions? Alright, I'm excited because this is like almost an instant gratification project. I'm going to sew it on and then I'm going to try it back on to show you how it came out. Alright, so see, I've got it pinned all the way around now. So now I'm going to go back to the serger. And I'm going to start somewhere between the pins. Maybe I'll start over here on the sleeve side. And I'm just going to make sure all of my edges are even. Because you want to catch everything. So I'm going to stick this under here like this. Put that down. And then I'm going to start serging. Okay, and I'm just going to, I have the sweater knit or the rib knit on the bottom. That'll help ease it in. I'm just going to work from clip to clip to clip. Okay. Notice I'm sewing inside the circle so I can see everything and nothing's getting caught underneath. This is exciting. Did you see what I just did? I just sewed. Oops. I just sewed. My neckline came right under the needle like that. Bad, bad, bad. All right, let me see what I'm going to do to fix that. I'm going to lift my presser foot. I'm going to draw the needle threads towards me like this. Okay, here they are. I'm going to gently see if I can, well, I think now that I can clip them, I'm going to clip them really close. Ooh. Okay, I really sewed that in. Let me show you. Oh gosh. All right, let me show you what I did here. Let me see if I can get it off the machine. All right, so look at what a job I did. I sewed it around. Oh, I can take it off that way. All right, so see, I caught my edge of my neckline right there. Let me just clip that. It was only a couple stitches. Of course, black on black is very difficult to see. Just see if I can get that out without making a hole in my collar or my mock turtleneck. Ooh, that was close. See what I did? I caught that right there. All right, so let me put my presser foot back on. Oh, I was all excited. I was like almost done. All right. So I'm just going to take these needle threads and I'm going to put them back here again. And then I'm going to continue on. Ooh, that could have been much worse. Okay, I'll just get this back under there now. I really am almost done sewing. So let me just get this back under here. I'm just going to overlap my stitching a little bit from where I realized I screwed that up. B-Gal's asking about differential feed. I have my differential feed setting set at halfway between 1 and 1.5. So that's a good question, B-Gal. You always want to test your differential feed on a scrap before you sew. I skipped that part because I sewed this together and tested it before I came on. But you always want to check the differential feed and make sure it's agreeing with the stretchiness of your fabric. So for this knit, it's not quite 1.5. It's like 1 and 1.25. Oh, and that's another good point to realize, that there are a lot of settings between the numbers on your differential feed, so don't feel like you have to jump from 1, which is neutral, to 1.5, the first number. There are a lot of settings in between, okay? If you set your differential feed higher than the amount you need, so the front feed dogs are going faster, you'll shove more fabric in and it'll bump up underneath your looper thread. So make sure you test that before you start sewing. So let me just finish up this neckline. All right, so I'm coming to my start point right here. You can see my tail. I'm going to cut that tail off, okay? Then I'm going to open my side cover and my front cover, and I'm going to rotate the knife down, and I'm going to put it out of the way, because then I can, I can overlap my start point so I can get this neat finish. I'll show you. So after I've overlapped it about 1/4 inch, I'm going to lift my presser foot. I'm going to make sure the needles are lifted. I'm going to slide everything behind the needles, and I'm going to slide everything off the stitch fingers. Then I can put my presser foot back down and chain off, and I'll get a nice, almost invisible start-stop point. Alright, so let me show you. Alright, so here is my start-stop point. Let me just cut these threads. Oops. Alright, so my start-stop point is right here, and you can see it's very neat and tidy because I didn't just veer off the edge of the fabric. Alright, so let's look at this. I'm kind of excited. I'm going to try it on. Hold on, let me just show it to you before I try it on. Oh, I think this is going to be cute. Alright, so that's what it looks like, not on my body. So let me just duck over here and I'm going to put it on. I'll be right back. For one day I didn't wear a tank top underneath my shirt. So just stick this on. So you're going to get to see it for the very first time. With me. Okay, let's see. All right. Ooh, I like it. All right, let me go to my other camera view here. Yeah, see? I think that's pretty nifty. Well, I guess if I stand up, I can show you more like this. Oh, yeah, I like it. You want to see the back? Can you see the back? I'll take some good pictures and I will put it on my Instagram. I don't know if you guys know, but I think I'm all done with Facebook because they're annoying. So I post all of my behind the scenes and upcoming things on my Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram and you're on Instagram, follow me so you can keep track of these things. But this is nice. I'm really happy with this because it's not like squeezing my neck, like there's some room in there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So yay, so that's my mock turtleneck. See, isn't it cute? It's very comfortable, very happy. So this is another thing you can do with the Raglan sleeve. You can make it into a mock turtleneck. I'm gonna play with making the neckline agree with the color of the fabric as well. So I'm going to make a pieced band, so I'll have the front come up and the sides come up in the colors of the sleeves and the front and back. So that's another thing I'm going to be playing with. But I'm excited. I'm excited to wear this hiking. I think this will be perfect. And maybe when it's cold, really cold, I can wear it inside the house. We'll see. Okay, let's see. Lana says, ooh, I like it. Mary says, looks good. Terry says, looks perfect. Beautiful. Miguel says, absolutely fabulous. I hope you can stand the collar. Thanks for doing this as my suggestion. Oh, please. I just want you guys to know, I can't tell you how happy I am that I have my next bunch of videos planned for me by you guys. Like, if I get questions, I put them on my list, but in this case, somebody asked me how to shorten the back of a raglan sleeve top. Well, actually, the raglan sleeve wasn't the problem, but she wanted to know how to shorten the top. So I did it on the raglan sleeve, I think. Then somebody else asked about the neckline, and then somebody else, the person who needed to shorten the back also wants to know how to do a full bust adjustment, so I'm going to show that. And then I got 2 different suggestions for how to make the bicep area bigger. So next week I'll be showing the full bust adjustment and how to make the bicep on the raglan sleeve a little bit roomier. So I'm really excited to have topics, especially when they're all related like this, so I can be working with this one pattern and I can show a bunch of different things. So I'm kind of excited. So it just worked out from a bunch of different suggestions from a bunch of different subscribers, all relating to the same pattern. So I'm really excited. So I'm gonna finish this. Don't you think this would look cute if I put a kangaroo pocket on the front? Maybe I'll put a kangaroo pocket on the front, and I'll trim it in black. I'll make it this color, but then I'll make it in black, so I'll have the kangaroo pocket. That's a piece that got lost when my Facebook got hacked. So let me see what I do with it. Oh, okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I will put a link to this under this video later, so you can get a copy of this. Let me just show you. Whoa, that's really bright now. Let me make it. Oops. Let me just make it a little less bright here. Hold on. Okay, so this right here was something I added this spring, and it was a free download in my J Stern Designs Fitting and Pattern Perfection group. It's basically a pattern for a kangaroo pocket. So I'm going to add this to my online store. I think I'll add it as a free add-on for the raglan sleeve, but really you can put it on any tee. So, and I'll put a link to it, so if you guys want to get the free kangaroo pocket, you can, because originally it was in my J Stern Designs group, and then that got deleted. So this is what I was talking about for a kangaroo pocket. All right, so Bigale says, oh, she's going to share my videos with her sewing buddies. Please share my videos with all your sewing buddies. I would appreciate that. The more people I can do videos for, the more I can do. So I appreciate it. Terry says, this pattern is full of ideas. It is. I'm so excited. And Lana says, yes, you can stuff your phone in the kangaroo pocket and you can add a zipper to keep it safe. You absolutely could. Now that you say that, Lana, wouldn't it be kind of cool to make the kangaroo pocket so it was on the inside and all you saw were the zippers on the outside? That could be fun. That could be really fun. I'm excited. I'm putting that on my list. Oh, this has been fun. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I know I did, because I got a new top out of it. So I only sew for myself when I'm trying to show or teach something, so or when I'm developing a new pattern. So I'm really excited that really excited, because I really like this. And actually, I've been sitting here for a few minutes with this neckline and it's not bugging me yet, so maybe it's not going to be too hot. So we'll see. I'm excited. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I will be back next week with more raglan sleeve adjustments on Tuesday for Quick Tip Tuesday. I don't know if that will spill into Friday's Fab Fit Friday. I might be onto a new topic by then, but you never know. We'll see. Maybe I'll show how to do the zippered kangaroo pocket on the inside or something. I don't know. We'll see. But there's lots of fun coming. And I will have a new Bernina L460 serger manual video on Sunday as well. I'm not sure what the topic's going to be yet. I have to look in the manual and see where I am. But that's my report for today. Thank you guys for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and stay safe. There's a lot of weather coming. If you're going to be in a storm, be careful and just, stay safe in general. And I'll see you guys next week. All right. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day. That's right. It's Valentine's Day. I'm going to have to think of something romantic to make for my husband for dinner. Let's see. I don't know. But, all right, ladies. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you again very, very soon. Thank you for joining me. Oh, wait a minute. Janie says, I always like to know how to use a pattern I have in different ways. Yes, I know. That's the whole thing. You can buy one pattern and use it many times. Super exciting. All right. Our hearts to Lana. Okay, I'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye-bye.